Hello and welcome to a special afternoon edition as we record the Stripping the Dipping podcast with your unusual co-host F1 Blag. Today I've got a transatlantic guest all the way from New York. In fact, we tried to run this episode when she was in Canada and had some connection issues. So with the trusty internet of New York City, I'm proud to announce we have son of Sancho, aka Julliana, a key member of Team LH. How are you doing? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Yeah, not bad. First proper weekend after work for 2023 as we record this. So recovering. How about you? Are you back to the grind so far this year?
Yes, I am. So quite busy. Can't wait for spring because I got a whole bunch of lineup coming up.
Nice. Okay. Well, hopefully we can get into that today. Really interested to hear what's going on with you, and also as we do with all our guests, to discuss some of the sort of top stories in the world of F1 Twitter, and of course Lewis Hamilton. We wouldn't have you on without mentioning him. So, first of all, we ask all of our guests to introduce themselves. So, um, if one of our listeners doesn't know you or hasn't sort of come across your content before, who is Julliana? Tell us.
Well, I'm born and raised in New York City. I'm known in New York for my modeling and acting career. Um, but in the F1 world, I am known to be part of Lewis Nation crew, who has been following Lewis since 2007.
Wow, 2007. So you would have been around, so I don't know, like 5 years old, right? I'm trying to work out if you were 21 today, young lady such as yourself. Yeah, no.
Okay, I'll take that.
Take that one,
No
take that
problem.
one. So acting, modeling, and a key member of the Lewis Nation crew. Fantastic. How do you fit it all in before we dive in? What's your top tip for staying productive?
Um, well, my work keeps me productive, but in F1, uh, we kind of look at the lineup. Oh yeah,
Oh, I
now you
can I
can
can hear
hear.
you.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, okay.
Okay.
So Juliana, when I was doing a little bit of research for the show, I just typed in Lewis Nation Crew into Twitter, as you can do, and the first thing that pops up is the gold verified Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team account, tweeting a picture of you guys in and around the garage in the Canadian Grand Prix in 2019. So, like, how do you know the Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team? How does that come about?
Well, Lewis Nation started before Lewis moved to Mercedes. So it started with my husband and his sister and his brother-in-law in 2007. So we grew over the years, and just before Lewis moved to Mercedes, um, the the general number will always be 10 or 11. Um, and so I guess 2 years when I would say 2015 is when it all started, when we just started to get creative, not just having helmets or banners. We started having like a balloon as huge as like a helium balloon, and it would
Mm.
have his helmet on it or a little piece of him on it. So that's when Mercedes started to notice how crazy we are for Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, before Mercedes noticed it, clearly Lewis noticed it because you can see he's in a few of these shots. So I presume you've met Lewis Hamilton on a couple of occasions, right?
Yes. So the craziest story, which we have quite a lot, but the very first time I met Lewis was in 2011. So the craziest story is the first time we met Lewis, 2011 in Montreal. It was a signing session, and it's very crowded. My husband and I were waiting online, and we had the helmet and I think the car model. And when we were waiting online, it was taking forever to get to him, and he looked like he was about to get up. So my husband decided, you know what? We waited too long. There was a wall on the far right side. We jumped on it. I followed him. I said, this shit is crazy. I'm from New York. We would have had a fight on the line, but nobody really, said anything. They just rooted for us. And so the security guide us to Lewis, and we was like, holy shit, that worked. So we went to Lewis, and he saw us, and he said, wow, hey guys, nice to meet you. And we wanted him to sign the helmet, but he explained to us that since it's a replica, he couldn't sign it.
So tell us, wow. So he was at the point of saying that he couldn't sign the helmet because it's replica, and you'd been at
Yes.
the
He was
signing.
very
Yeah.
nice, because usually, some people would just be like, I can't sign it, and that's it. But we had something else for him to sign, which was the car model. And he asked for our names, and then he remembered our names ever since. I mean, honestly, I didn't think he would, but he really did.
Wow, what a guy! And you know what's interesting, because you were talking about 2011. Like
Oh
I've
boy.
always liked, I've always liked Lewis Hamilton, right? But like if you compare the scale of the brand, the kind of following that Lewis Hamilton has 2011 compared to today, it's sort
Mm.
of exponentially grown. So that's fantastic that you, near the beginning of his F1 career, had already, he remembered your name. So fantastic. Any other good memories of seeing Lewis or following Lewis through the years? Dean
Oh
plus
my
years.
goodness. Are you ready? We could be
Yeah,
here all day.
we're ready.
I think the next big one was in 2016 for just my husband and I. We were actually on our honeymoon, and we went to Southeast Asia. We went to Malaysia and Singapore. Um, and Malaysia was the best one until the race happened. But other than the race, he saw us in Malaysia, and he congratulated us for our marriage. And that was the most intimate session we had with Lewis. And then after that one was the biggest one. This was when 2000, I think 18, the fifth or when he was on the chase for his fifth championship. And in Montreal, we got to meet him with the whole crew in the back of the paddock, by the water where Angela got thrown in the water. We were sitting there, and we were having a really great conversation, an honest conversation, besides the recording that they had. And he stood with us for a whole hour. And I literally stood there and said, this man is busy. Why is he still here? He has to go to the engineer meeting session, but he just enjoyed our company. And that was the moment where we've always wished for. And we actually manifested that opportunity, that meeting, that intimate conversation. And we enjoyed every minute of that.
I'm a combination of both like absolute awe and incredible envy. But but tell me, what is Lewis Hamilton like in person for people that have never met him? What energy has he got? What do you notice about being in his company?
Oh God, he's so calm and beyond humble, and he listens to you. He lets you speak. Like, even if you're nervous, I'm always the nervous one, and I always plan what I want to say, but at the moment it's gone, because because it's calm, it's humbling. He listens to everything that you say, because he knows how important it is for that moment to happen. You try your best to be at a certain place at a certain time to meet your hero. and he understands that you have so much to say. So he'll just relax and you relax with him and you express like all your interests and ideas with him. And it's just beautiful.
Oh, wow. I mean, I can get that. I'm immersed in that description you gave us. And it sounds like, these sporting icons that really transcend their individual sport, your Muhammad Ali's, people of that nature. Um, why, you said the word hero. What made Lewis your hero at the beginning?
Hmm. Well, where should I start with that? Besides um the obvious, um the humble beginnings, like, not having a lot of money to invest your interest or your. Can you
Mm.
hear me now?
Yes, yeah. What? How did that happen? You just came back. Okay. So,
Yes.
where were we? Yeah. What made him your hero to begin with?
Well, his humble beginnings. For someone that doesn't have a lot of money to make his dream possible made him my hero because I could relate. I don't have a lot, but I have invested in my career to get to where I need to be. And when I meet him, he asks me, um, where are you now? How far have you gone? And what do you need to do? And so when he does that, I'm like, shoot, have I done it better than the year before? And the year before that, have I progressed? Because he's checking in to see where you are standing. Because if you're doing the right thing, he'll notice that. And it's just I can't explain it, but I just get chills that he is paying.
I have a sound effect ready for this moment.
I love it. That was
We need to get a
perfect.
soundboard. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, so it sounds like he's kind of like guiding or mentoring or inspiring people, holding them to account almost. And I say people like it's hundreds of people, but it feels really focused on you. And that's incredible. That must feel incredible.
Yeah, honestly, I get impressed because, um, I didn't think that he would know my name, my husband name. Um, this this made me realize when he was paying attention was 2 years before my husband and I decided to get married. We were inviting him, and and then when we after the year after the invite, he asked us, or my husband, I should say, because all I could say is, "Hi, Lewis, how you doing?" Then he goes to my husband and he asks him, "Did you get married yet?" And then he looked at me and I said, "Oh my god, he remembers!" It's so crazy.
Wow. That's like both he cares, but he seems like also an extraordinary human being, able to recall that, which is fantastic. So, so tell us, you're talking about, am I doing it better this year than I was the year before? What is your goal for 2023, or what are you going to be trying to do better this year than you did the year before? Oh, that wasn't the right one. That was Sonic. That was meant to be Sonic. That was not the right one, though. What's this one? Is this it? Is that the sound that Sonic makes when he dies? I don't even know that. I must not have played Sonic
Juliana,
properly.
we can't hear you. We are trying to give you sound effects, but we can't still hear you.
What about the one where he drops all the rings? What about this one? Oh, that's good. That's it, where you lose all the rings.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you
Yeah,
now.
yeah. We're trying to put a brave
Oh my
face on it.
god.
I'm so sorry about
But
this.
you know what? No, you guys are amazing because you're giving me hope.
Well, persistence is something that we try and do. So yeah, absolutely. So while we still have you on the line, tell us. So Lewis wants you to do better this year than you did the year before. So what does that mean for you, Julliana, in 2023? What will you be doing better?
Well, since last year, I did progress to join SAG, which is amazing for any actor. So this year, what I would like to do is get into more film work rather than commercial films, which I'm always grateful for the commercial because, it pays the bills. But my dream is to be in films, whether it's TV shows or movies. So that's my goal this year.
Fantastic. Well, we'll be checking out your IMDb for all of those
Yes,
upcoming credits. Yeah, absolutely. And SAG, is that the Screen Actors Guild? Is that what that is?
yes, yes.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So it's
For those of
very,
us,
very important. It's
yeah, it
very
is.
important for any actor, whether you're on stage, whether it's Broadway, off Broadway, or film work. That is the area that you want to go to.
Wow. Okay. Well, best of luck for 2023. And actually, let's think about 2023 for Lewis Hamilton. What are your hopes, realistic or otherwise, for Lewis Hamilton and the W14 in 2023? Okay, I'm going to try another one. What's this one? No, that's not even.
Ooh, that one is good. We'll be playing it until Julliana comes back again.
Yeah, there's just a load.
Yeah,
No.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Can
So
you hear me now?
that was good. We got the answer
Okay.
for you in 2023. So how about this? Look, we'll try not to laugh. Otherwise, the tone of our voice will be really inconsistent when we cut this together. But no, it's brilliant to hear your aspirations for 2023, and we wish you the very best in those. And thinking about Lewis Hamilton, what do you think his 2023 will look like?
It will be the biggest redemption after Abu Dhabi.
Tell me more. That energizes. Yes. Go on.
Well, I know he hasn't lost that passion or fire since then. Obviously, we saw that in the W13, which I hope it would never resurface. Um, so for this year, I know that fight will be in this year with the W14. So with some of the changes in the team that is happening that I'm starting to see, I think the team will come together because I think they fell apart last year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. Looking at the sad, for Lewis's standards, the sad result of 2002. I mean, by most other drivers' standards, that's an incredible season. The number of podiums that he was able to get in that car, developing it from where it was. And actually, you talk about an interesting point, because I think it was just today or yesterday, as we record this, we heard the news of James Vowles moving from Mercedes to become the team principal of Williams. Do you have any thoughts on that development? What that might mean for the Mercedes team as well in terms of strategy? Oh, that's not a lose sound effect. What's this one?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you came back just as that sound effect came through. Yeah, perfect.
That was perfect.
Yeah. So, have you seen the news about James Vowles and his move to Williams? What do you think that means for Mercedes and their strategy for the season ahead?
Well, I think for Mercedes, it's a good move, especially for Vowles. Congratulations to him. I don't think Mercedes is going to lose much because they do have a lot of talented people in the Mercedes, because there are some people that have been there for years that needs to step up in that opportunity. And then there are other fresh ones, how should I say it? Fresh amazing engineers that needs to step up and showcase what they have, because they have so much potential. That team always progress, and I never seen a team do that before.
Yeah, and in a way, last year would be very unfamiliar for them because when you have the fastest car or one of the fastest cars, you approach strategy in a particular way and you approach development in a particular way. And then when you're battling in the midfield or you don't have a margin or you have to think creatively, I guess that actually, as you say, is a call for all of those engineers and strategy folk to step up. So I hope your prediction is right or your aspirations for Lewis are right in 2023. You still there? Just going to check sound effect.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Game over. Game over.
There you go.
Julliana.
I'm going to put some winning sound effects. Surely that win, that energy, right? What's the winning sound effect? What's that? Oh, that was just applause.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh!
Brilliant. Welcome back. We do this. Oh, no, I don't want the advert. God, I hate adverts. God. Welcome back. Brilliant. That was just a break for our commercial sponsors. We'll definitely fill that with, lots of adverts. So tell me about the aspirations for this year for the crew, for Lewis Nation crew. Will you be trying to get along to a race, or what are you looking to do as that collective in 2023?
So this year we always cover Montreal and COTA. So we're thinking to do Miami, Vegas, and Hungary.
Wow, Hungary is a bit of a random one. US, Eastern Europe, but Hungary is a lovely place.
Hey, you got to be creative, do something that you never done before.
But one of Lewis's absolute best circuits, and that's saying something, right? Is
that
why
yes,
you picked
I
it?
mean,
where did you pick Budapest?
Because that's one of the reasons. We would have done China.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, thank God. I just thought it went silent. It's because your vocal tones are so perfect. When you cut off, I was like, no. So I thought you'd gone, but you're not. You're still there. Fantastic. So, and why China? Because it's a good long haul trip, or because, again, it's a circuit that Lewis has done well at before? Oh, I've got too many winning sound effects. What about this one? Winner. That was a bit aggressive, wasn't it?
Victory, where's the chicken dinner?
Hopefully that didn't deafen listeners as we cycle through the victory sound effects. We're manifesting victory. We're manifesting Julliana's safe return to the airwaves. And the optical fiber between New York and London and Sri Lanka hopefully will all be working. I think you're back with us, Julliana. Is that right? Oh, I was just hopeful. There we are.
Hey, Julliana, can you hear? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
We prayed. We took a moment to pray and you came back. See?
Your prayers are answered.
Yeah. We just need to pray in Portuguese and have one of those orações, the Brazilian prayer circle that they have for Lewis, save Lewis.
That's actually my favorite. The 2021. It is my favorite.
And I feel so lucky because I can speak a bit of Portuguese. So it's like completely not random because he's got citizenship in Brazil now and everything.
Oh my God. So you still got to go.
Well,
Make that one of your...
Yeah, I was there in 2016. A sad year by the end for Lewis, but he won the race.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the race
I know.
That was very wet. And I just moved to Brazil and I was very naive. So I didn't take a coat with me. So I don't know why, what part of rainforest did I not understand? But there we are. Or Interlagos, between lakes, there was some water. Anyway, which circuit would you say is your favorite? Is it one of the ones you're visiting this year, or are there others that come up in that ranking?
So far, I would say, oh gosh, there's two, but I guess it's the one I covered the most, right? But my favorite circuit is COTA. It will always be COTA. We
can't, but I'm just sort of...
Wow, this really
you
sucks.
That was quick. No, it's all right.
Okay.
We're pulling stuff together. So Kota, it looks fantastic on TV with that huge gradient up at the start finish straight. What makes Kota one of your favorites?
Because it's laid back, the
Mm,
atmosphere,
mm.
everybody enjoys it together. And then you have the good food, the music, and then the circuit, the cars, you're able to see it on the track, on the other side of the track. You don't get to see that in other places.
No, no. But it's really interesting you mentioned Budapest for this season because I think there was a run of a few Grand Prix, and not to lower the tone too much, where there was some we would call them in England hooligans that were there to cause trouble or not enjoy it together as a collective.
Mm.
Have you experienced that, or do you anticipate that you might need to approach, say, Budapest differently than you would Kota?
Well, when it's a new track, and even when the tracks that you go to often, there will be a few people that will try to make it unenjoyable to you. But I guess as a group, you have to make it your own experience.
Right. And I think there's a few sort of sets of safety tips that they have on Twitter now, which is fantastic for those that aren't traveling in a group, but it's fantastic that you have a crew, as you call them, that you travel with. So I don't think you're there, are you? I knew she'd gone, but I just finished the clip because I thought, professional, keep it professional. Right. Where's the Mario thing? Oh, that's a bit quiet. There we go. So I absolutely envy those people that go to Grand Prix regularly. I've been to 3, which I feel really grateful for, but they're spread out between. I think I went to the Italian Grand Prix when I was a child in 1998. I went to the Belgian Grand Prix in 2011 as a sort of birthday present, and then I went to Brazil 2016 when I'd moved there. All very different experiences for a variety of reasons, given where I was in life and so on. But still,
Did you enjoy Brazil though?
sorry, yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I love Brazil. The problem was it was so wet. It was that race where Max Verstappen sort of nearly spun or spun on the straight and then collected it. I was actually sat on the corner, the corner in Interlagos where it was number 4, where Max Verstappen tried to drive Lewis Hamilton to the airport. I was basically sat in the grandstand at that corner. Obviously, it was sort of 5 years before that all happened. It was the Rosberg season, which we don't like to talk about. But it was lovely. Yeah, it's very expensive though. For me, I'm cheap, or I don't know. Maybe other people are more successful in business.
No, it's expensive.
Yeah,
It's an expensive sport, and then you have
yeah,
to travel. You have to know where you're staying. How are you going to afford the food and the food on the track if you do so? And then if you like to afford some of the merch there, but most of the time we don't because it's getting expensive. But at least like you need to know how to do it so you're able to enjoy it, you know? But we're growing so large because I got 2 little ones that are enjoying the sport that I love. It's getting expensive and they're charging kids now. So it's like you gotta know which one to go to the most.
yeah, absolutely. And it kind of makes sense then when you say you're trying new circuits, because actually it's about that different experience as well. And if you're in Budapest, I thoroughly recommend. They have these spas there, like warm water spas. They're fantastic. So do enjoy it when
Ooh.
you're out there. Hopefully, it will be a really hot weekend. It's usually sort of 30 degrees, but with the water and everything, it's beautiful. So enjoy. Fantastic.
Well, I enjoy heat, so that's fine.
Oh
That's
gosh.
probably why I'm going.
Yeah, well, the last time we spoke, I think you were in Canada, and I just got the impression it was cold. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I just got the feeling. So, do you like cold as well as heat, or are you sort of out of your element at the moment in the northern winter? Do, 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 do. There's a few. We'll clip some of these for TikTok or YouTube Shorts of just 30-second clips of me making a fool of myself, talking to myself. But no, it's been fantastic talking to Julliana. I'm now going to go and switch to some of our fun questions. Those that are students of Jorgy'S Stripping the Dipping podcast will know what these questions are, but maybe Julliana won't know. So
yeah,
these are
whenever
very,
you
very
get to the fun
intellectual
questions.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I've been slacking so far. I've been far too serious. So two fun questions, right? The first one is called Taxi Dinner Avoid. It is a much more PG version of another question that maybe other people ask on other podcasts. So you've got to pick from the Formula One grid a driver that will be your taxi driver for the night, a driver that will be your dinner date, and then a driver that you just want to completely avoid. So taxi dinner avoid. Over to you, Julliana. Who do you pick?
So a taxi driver. I would say Yuki, because he cusses everybody to get out of the way.
Very New York, I guess. Stereotypical
Yeah.
anyway.
I freaking love it. And then dinner is definitely Lewis. Like, always manifested to sit with him and have that, conversation over and over, just over the years, and talk about life in general. And then person to avoid, can I choose two?
I mean, you can avoid, well, technically you might be avoiding 18, right? If we've picked two drivers, but go on, tell us the two that you're extremely trying to avoid.
Alonso and Max.
How did I mean, I could have written that in the script, right? But there we are. No, I don't think among the sort of Lewis Team LH community or the crew that I don't think your view will be too controversial.
No, it won't.
But why? I mean, could you explain for other listeners why you would like to avoid those two particular drivers? And she hung up. It was just too. Why should you need to explain that? It's obvious to those people. We like to be an all ages, all audience podcast. So we don't want to exclude people that love Fernando Alonso. In fact, Fernando Alonso. This is going to give away my age. In the United Kingdom, at the age of 18, you can do A levels, which are like your SATs, I guess, before you go to college or university. And I did Spanish, and don't ask me to speak Spanish. And I did my project. You had to do a spoken presentation on Fernando Alonso, and it was before he won the World Championship, and it was when he was seen as the up and coming challenger to Michael Schumacher, someone that could make the sport more competitive. And it was even before the 2005 season when he was winning. So I've aged myself, but also given away that it hasn't always been Fernando Alonso that one would want to avoid. But there we are. And the drum rolls, I can hear them building in the background, because not only do they anticipate Julliana's return to the airwaves, but they also anticipate our most important question, which we ask all of our listeners. And I'm intrigued what the answer is going to be. While we're waiting for Julliana, I would encourage you guys to go and check out our YouTube channel. We've been putting more effort into it this year. By that I mean trying to clip the episodes, trying to put some shorts, and you can catch all of our content there, including some special live episodes. So Taylor Ferns, who's a fantastic racing driver in the USAC Silver Crown Series, which is a Sprint Cup championship, had a live episode, our first episode of 2023 with Dens. So you can check that out on YouTube. Please do.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Fantastic. You've
Awesome.
come back at exactly the right moment. So the question that is on everybody's lips, right, is based on an assumption that surely, Julliana, that, in the past you've enjoyed a good pizza, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay. I don't think we've had anyone say no, but maybe one day they will. Right. So the question is a simple question. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
No. Very direct. Care to elaborate on that?
I just don't like fruits touching on a hot meal. It's just not happening.
I like
I'm
that. There's a
Caribbean, by the way, and
yeah.
that's absurd.
I thought you were going to say that's disrespectful or something. Yeah, exactly. So I love this touching. The way you said touching just gave an element, a sound of disgust. So, and I appreciate that
Yeah.
because I'm team no pineapple. I would say just mainly because Georgie is team pineapple, and so every time
Uh-oh.
there's one for the pineapple team. Yeah. No, don't worry. We're not offending. We're not sort of insulting Georgie directly. It's fine. Just her crew, the pineapple
Oh yeah,
crew.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Well, look, now we've gotten that out of the way. That's cleared the air. I think, Julliana, we have a lot more in common, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell our listeners where they can find you. So you're Son of Sancho on Twitter, is that right? I like to ask questions on the podcast that are easy because I know the answer. So let me just. The problem with this Son of Sancho account, right, is that there are zeros in it, which make it confusing for me. Então, vamos dar uma olhada. Okay, so you can find Julliana on Twitter at son_of_Sancho. And you can find her on Instagram, and she is Son, and then 0F, and then Sancho, but the O at the end is actually a 0. So SON 0F SANCH 0. And she would, I think she's got a fantastic Instagram, and I can see that on her Twitter she retweets our episodes, so an extra few points as well as Lewis content as well, which is fantastic. When she comes back, I'm going to ask her the question. She talked about the beautiful thing about earlier in the episode when we had Julliana was that she was talking about how Lewis, when he meets people, is saying, "Where are you on your journey? Are you where you want to be? Are you better this year than you were last?" And Julliana talked about joining the Screen Actors Guild, which for those in the industry, it's SAG, okay? So not, I'm an amateur, so I wouldn't know. But and trying to transition, as well as doing the commercials, into film work, TV work as well. So we'll have to ask Julliana whether there are any projects she's thinking about working on that she can reveal when she's back. But you know what? These sorts of things, there are non-disclosure agreements and so on and so forth. So if we can get a sneaky tidbit, that would be great. What's really great about this podcast is hopefully you feel the same listening at home. You feel a sense of investment in the guests. So I'll be watching Miles Rowe this season. I'll be watching Taylor Ferns, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll be watching the Paramount Plus network for Julliana when she appears on all the shows or whichever streaming service you're on. Julliana, are you back with us? I thought I could hear some background noise. Maybe it was you, Georgie. Georgie, are you still sad? Are you sad from the pineapple debate? It feels like you didn't get a member of your team.
Oh, yeah. Sadness within my heart, man. Nah, I'm okay.
Good. Well, I've been on a losing streak lately because I feel like a lot of people have been open to pineapple. Maybe they're not enthusiastic.
You've been losing a lot. Like on a strike, you've been losing. And then Julliana was like, yeah, I do like pizza. And then she was like, pineapple, nope. And then I was like,
nope.
Yep.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. Direct. Like, nope. Fantastic. I'm looking out the window because when this episode finishes, I'm going to pop out and go for a bike ride with my son before the sun disappears. We've got a window of about 45 minutes, which will be fantastic. It's raining in the UK, but maybe that's something that doesn't need to be stated because it's pretty obvious.
I hope that Julliana will be able to come back and reconnect, though.
Yeah, I hope so. No, of course, I'm not saying I'm leaving immediately, but more before we go. So hopefully she can come back, and of course. We'll have to. This means what we'll have to do is we'll all have to go to the Budapest Grand Prix. Eastern Europe. It's like a footstep towards Sri Lanka. Hi, Julliana. Welcome back. It's great to have you here. Georgie disconnected you because she was so outraged at your answer to the pineapple on pizza.
I am so sorry. I know pineapples separately.
Oh my God.
You still invest in the pineapple, but just sort of separate.
Yeah, just not meant to be together.
No, some people aren't meant to be together. Exactly. Pineapple on pizza. You and Mario Andretti will have a lot in common, which is fantastic.
Oh my God, no thanks.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. God, what the hell's going on? So, look, while you were away, I found your Insta handle and your Twitter account and gave those a shout out to
And
those listening.
thank you so much. I
No
did hear
problem.
it, and you did it very well.
I know,
Yeah,
but you
I
know
like
what?
to.
I
Mhm.
struggle. There's O's and the zero because when I say O, I could mean zero or O. But there we are. We'll be following
But
you this.
I like to make it a little complicated, you know? It's just the way it is.
Yeah. That's a style and fashion is never simple. So tell us,
No.
2023, you joined the Screen Actors Guild. Before we give this, we sort of pay our homage to this episode and close it down. Is there something you're working on at the moment, or something that you want our listeners and us to check out, or is it all sort of secret, hidden under lock and key until the right moment? No. F1 Black must get quicker at asking questions. Oh dear. Let's see, what's this one? Oh, losing a life. What about this? Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, I knew you were going to do that. The final sound effect of the episode. Let's see if we've got it. Let's see if this is audible. Yeah. But we started with many, many lives, which is how we've survived through this episode. The timer, as I look at it, says 56 minutes and 33 seconds, which includes our virtual green room, where we check in with our guests before we go live. And by live, I mean record. And we say, hey, how are you doing? And so on and so forth. So, we've put an hour in. I feel like we've only barely scratched the surface of everything that Julliana does. Fantastically interesting person, and has met Lewis Hamilton infinite more times than I have, and hopefully she'll do it again in the not too distant future. Let's have a look here. While we're waiting for Julliana, of course, on the day of recording, I read some sad news about Jenny Gow. She is a BBC F1 correspondent. In fact, she's probably worked for lots of outlets as well. Sadly, she had a stroke 2 weeks ago, so that would be around the New Year period, and she's really suffering from that and trying to recover. And so we send her our best wishes from the show. It's difficult at the best of times for me to get a sentence out without flubbing my lines, and we really hope that she can make a full recovery and return to broadcasting. I can see that a fresh Julliana has appeared in the chat. So that
Can
means,
you hear
the
me?
laughter. We can hear you, yes. And I think this is for the last time. So Julliana, I was just overly talking, but the question I wanted to ask you was, is there something that our listeners should be looking out for you that you've either just recently done, or that you're planning on doing, or that will be coming soon? Any sneak peek you can give us?
Well, I do have 2 other commercials that is coming on. One is international, and then one is done here in America, but I can't give it away because it's not broadcasted yet. And then, there are future projects, but of course, it's disclosure at this moment, and it's later on around spring and summer. So, but the most important thing is that I'm getting busy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to have you back on the show again one time. Maybe we'll go to the Budapest Grand Prix and take a dictaphone
And
and
maybe
listen.
we can help you invest, like to come over to New York, and we could do a live broadcasting. I will definitely sponsor it because, I mean, you guys have done so amazing.
Well, that's really kind of you. And we hope to meet soon, and we'd love to do a live episode with you. And of course, the usual co-host, not just any old man from North London, AMG Dens, who unfortunately couldn't be here this afternoon. So I think that is our cue, not to play the Mario loses a life sound effect again, but to say thank you to those that have listened to the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, then please give the video a like. If you're on on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, or whatever your preferred platform is, please do make sure you're subscribed to us, and that if there's a way to leave a comment or a review, please, it means a lot to us and it helps us grow our listener base. 2023, just like Julliana, we're on a mission to do it better than we did last year. And Jorgy has set a high bar, because last year we did our whole season, 75 episodes in the can. This year, we're already a couple of episodes in, had some fantastic guests and more to come. So without further ado, I will give you your ears back and say thank you so much for listening. It's always a pleasure to be with you on Jorgy'S Stripping the Dipping podcast. This has been your unusual co-host, F1 Blag. Good night.